Hi, welcome to this tutorial. This tutorial is for super users of Picasso system. Let me start saying this is not so complicated, it is not so difficult as you think. It's easy to use when first it's set up in the system. The background is the Danish Data Techotel have made a recommendation that you make longer and stronger password. If you use a password with 13 characters, capital letters, normal letters, numbers, and special characters, you will create a very strong password with maximum security of the system. I will give you an idea how to create a password like that, so it is easy to work with and easy to remember for everybody. I'm going to show you how to set it up in the system. I'm going to show you how to set up your pin pad so that will permanently in your selector, and that is very good when we're going to work in the combination of password and pin codes. I will show you how to use it on a daily basis, so you can show it to the staff. But I will also make a other tutorial that is going to show how to use it in a daily use, only how to use your password and how to change it, and how to use your pin code in a combination. So now we are ready to go into Picasso, into the selector, and set up the different rules. All we have to do is to check into hotel setup and find basic up in the left corner. And in this menu, you're going to choose number 30, Mish, and you will open that. There's two columns. You're looking for the right one, and there you have a section talking about password. I will run through it and fill in the different numbers so it will be correctly set up. The first question is about how long should a password be active before you have to choose a new one. We will set that up to 90 days. That means every 3 months, something like that. You have to change your password 3 or 4 times a year. That should be securing that nobody is getting used to your password. Next question is you can have a warning about that your password is expiring, and we set that into 7 days, and 1 week before you will have a warning that you have to start thinking about changing your password. Next question have not so much to do with the password directly. It's a question about the users. Here you can set a number a day when a user have to be moved from active to inactive list. We set it for 180 days, and if nobody is checking in 180 days, it will be moved to inactive list. It will not be deleted, it will just be moved to inactive. The next question is one of the key questions. It's here minimum length of a password. We put in 30 digits. That should be capital letters, normal letters, numbers, and special characters. That should make the best and most secure password. Next question is the length of a pin code, and we put that into 4 digits. That what we're used to for all our bank card and so on and so on. Next question is about complex password rules. We will skip that. That's very few customers that are going to need that, so there's no reason to think more about that. The next we have to talk about is how long should a password be active so you can use your pin code before you have to set your password again. We put that in for 240 minutes. That means for 4 hours after you have set your password, you can only use your PIN. You don't have to think about your password. When the time comes, there will come a small window and say, please repeat your password, so you can verify that you are allowed to use your PIN code. The last thing we have to do in here is to set a mark, and that mark do that all users with the first check-in will be asked to change their passwords. That's it. That's all. We can say save and close, and we now set the new rules in the system. To set up your pin pad so you can easily set in your pin code, you have to go to Departments, and in Department you will find this pin pad login. I set a mark in all departments. You can choose to leave some of them not marked, but I will mark them all. I will say save and close, and that's it. Everything is done. We finished, so we can log out the system. We have to go back to the beginning and log into the selector again. So when the selector opens again, you will see a small change. Now you have your pin pad out here on your left hand. That is what you can use when you use your pin code. We will now ask Anna to check into the system, and she will set her old password in, and immediately it will show up that she have to change her password. And she will be asked to repeat it. And she will have an OK. It's fulfilled the rules, and it's the same. She have punched twice, so we say OK. And now she will be protected by a longer and safer password. We can take another user. We can go down and find PBU. And again, when he comes in, he will be using his old password, and he will be asked to change the password immediately. And again, we have to repeat it. And now he will also be protected by a longer password. So now I hear you saying, God, we cannot work behind a password like that. That is too complicated. We're changing user all the time during the day. And I understand you. But now it is time to talk about the pin code. Because for 4 hours you're now protected by this password, and you are allowed to use your pin code. Let's try to go back to Anna. And let her check in again. And she will now try to use her pin code. And I mean, she only has to punch 4 digits. We can go back to PBU and ask him to do the same, and he will also use his pin. So now they're both working with a 4-digit code, and they do that for 4 hours while the password is activated. And now let's talk about the pin pad, because you can choose to use your keyboard to punch your pin code, but you can also use your pin pad, which is much easier, especially if you have a touch screen. But he will set his pin again, and he's now working in the system. It is not more difficult than that. It's easy to use in the daily basis, and you have to punch your password 1 or 2 times during the shift. The rest of the way, you just use your pin code. As I promised in the beginning, I will show you an easy way to create a password that have a minimum of 30 digits that I still can remember, and is easy to use. The method I use is that I ask myself some question. And in this case, I use this. My dog name is, it's called Fido. I put that in with capital letters. The next question I ask myself is, when did I get it? I got it on Christmas Eve, the 24th of December 22, so that would be 24/12/22. The third question I ask myself is, what color is it? And that is black/white. So that means now I have created a password called Fido 24/12/22 black/white. That is a very secure password. If you measure it as you can do at the internet, it will come back as a qualified Fort Knox code. That means it's very difficult to break. In your case, you can ask you all sorts of questions instead of your name of the dog. That could be the name of your wife or your sister or your grandmom. That could be a birthday. That could be a special anniversary for you. That could be the color of the eyes or the hair on your beloved. There's many different ways to do. The only limitation is your fantasy. You can write whatever you like because you're the only one that know what it say, because it's your personally password. Should you as a super user have any question to what we have been talking about, you should be more than welcome to contact Picasso support in the open hours. Thank you.